Hello, we're back. Our topic is Toti Casino. He is a person, a human being. He has an advocacy towards correcting a lot of the ills in our country, namely the electricity, which is the higher rates, and of which the oligarchs control. Deng Vaxia, which has now killed, like you said, over 1,000, and with many more thousands ailing and close to 90 exhumed bodies, and yet everyone's looking the other way. And finally, three items: the electricity and Smartmatic. Ladies and gentlemen, nangloloko yung Smartmatic na yan, noon pa yan. Kaya para sa akin, ang COMELEC nawala na ng integridad. How they can even go to work and say, talk on TV, nakakahiya kayo. Ninakaw nyo ng eleksyon, nanakawin nyo pa uli sa taong bayan. Toti, okay, I know you're a man, sinasabi mo, what else have you got to lose? You realize the election is grueling, and either way, even Butch is independently wealthy, and so are you. But it's not like you're going to throw good money after bad, diba?
Right.
How are you going to address the election? Miski pa paano gagastos ka, Toti?
Okay, yeah, that's true.
So you're ready for this?
Yes.
And you realize the emotional state you can get sucked in after rejection.
Okay.
It's very. I lost in 2013.
Yeah.
The people of Muntinlupa rejected me,
Right.
and I tend to keep that in my mind forever. I mean, parang ganun eh. Sige nga, how
Okay.
would?
This is a model that we'd like to test, put it in a test case, because we would like to see whether this model would succeed or not. We're looking at the Duterte formula. The Duterte formula, if you notice, he was a dark horse from the very beginning.
Oh, walang pera.
Not really, yeah, exactly.
Nagmumura.
Walang pera, nagmumura, and he was considered as a thug. All right? And the ones that was ranking and rating then, during that early period.
Maroja, siyempre, sila.
Binay,
Yeah.
Grace Poe.
Yeah, sila.
Right. Until one of them, the vice president who turned out who lost and then
Yeah.
is now barking in the Senate, si Trillanes,
Yeah.
was run hitting on
Binay.
Binay and then later on Poe.
Yes.
So while they were barking on them, all of a sudden here comes this dark horse and says, hey, with the Supreme Court ruling favoring this fail-am to run or
It's
legitimately
true. Amerikano yan eh.
sabi niya, might as well run na rin ako, throw my, ganun din ang gagawa na. So that's what he did. And they did a substitution, correct?
Yes,
with
Dino Martin.
Martin
He
Dino.
was also a host in GNN.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good
I
to
brought him in together with Dante Jimenez,
Okay.
VACC.
Right.
Yes.
So with that, they said, okay, let's take that, let's get into this, and then let's start running.
Right,
Now,
right.
the social media factor was such a big push that lo and behold, even I, who did not know Duterte from Adam, and I started watching the kind of support that he got from the crowd, I said, my God, this is a different wave, all right? That no mainstream media, the entire election campaign period, never covered. But in social media, he was well covered. And they were lambasting all the
It's
administration.
like the Obama campaign.
Right. Obama and even the Bush campaign. Even
No,
the Trump campaign.
Trump, yes.
Trump campaign. Now, as you can see, he was able to garner so much support that even as early as 30 days before election during the overseas absentee voting, we were reading reports that the votes shaded for Duterte was being counted for Mar. So as early
in spite of that.
in spite of that, as early as 30 days
Yes.
before the actual date, the overseas absentee were already reporting. Why is this? I shaded the name of Duterte and the vote counted for Mar. All right? So that's already evidential. But this was being forwarded to COMELEC, and COMELEC said, we're busy to handle that. Let the embassy take care of that. You know? And excuses, wherever they go. And finally came the election day. Yet, here you see a presidential candidate throughout the run has never ranked number 2, number 3,
Not
and number
once,
4.
yes, yeah.
Always number 4.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, during the canvassing, he was number 2, trying to catch up that lead. Okay, if the survey results to this day say he's get about a high 78% to a high 80% support,
Right,
correct?
right.
And if you count the figures at 80% out of, let's say, 55 million registered voters, only 45 million voted in the last election, 80% of 45 is 31 million, easily, right? And he got the number of 21 million, which means they shaved off not 5 million, a good 10 million. To put that numbers into,
Hindi nila matago, in other words.
hindi nila kayang habulin.
Period.
Period. Hindi nila kaya habulin sa dami. So, saying to the question that threw me, how we're going to champion this against this, the same formula that Duterte did, we are banking on the voters. If they're already fed up with the traditional politics, is this the same face?
Pero
that we're
again,
gonna-
the survey, sila pinopromote. Would you imagine,
Correct.
Mar Rojas, number 6.
Correct, correct.
Grace po, walang ginawa.
Correct.
Number 1.
Yes, yes.
O okay si Cynthia Villar. Kaya sige na, okay na yun.
No, Cayetano is running for the Congress, not for the Senate.
Hindi ba Senate
No,
si...
no, no, si-
Pia. I'm talking
yeah,
Pia.
Pia, I'm sorry.
Pia, not Alan.
Yeah.
I'm talking Pia's going
Yeah,
again.
yeah. So,
Okay.
those are the traditional faces that I'm sure the voters are already fed up with.
Let's go to the other issues. Ikaw, personal advocacies other than the party positions.
Okay.
Agriculture, because I heard you talk about this.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
bringing it up before
Yeah,
the
yeah.
show.
Okay,
Nagulat ako, agriculture, Toti, di ba?
That is the guy that suited.
No, bakit? Di ba?
Okay,
Nagulat ako
okay,
doon kasi
okay.
you're so techy. IT
Right,
ka
right.
ever
Okay,
since.
okay.
Nagtuturo ka pa nga eh.
Okay. Here's the thing. Food security, agriculture. Associate those two.
Of course, food
Right, right.
security.
Now, if their prices of basic commodities, like rice, is beyond the reach of the-
Inflation. Ganun
Oh,
mangyayari.
ganyan.
Problema.
Then
Like now.
Okay, nagkakaroon ng clamor yan, right? Change. Now, if let's say, if you're able to increase the yield per acreage, that would bring down the cost, right?
Correct.
And then increase the productivity of the farmer, right? And then the farmers get more money to take in, right? Bring down the cost not only on but even the growing of the basic commodity like feeds. 70% of the livestock cost is
Feeds.
based on feeds.
Yeah.
Corn is the basic.
Yeah.
Now, we're running out of land area. Okay, here's the technology where it plays. And I read this in a popular magazine, Mechanics
I told
magazine.
him,
Like it's a multi-tiered level, like a rice terrace. But if let's say the engineers can build high-rise malls, why can't our engineers build a high-rise
Same thing.
same harvest area in a limited area where we have 24
More production.
Not only that, we have the right temperature and the right rainfall.
correct.
And then when you have that irrigation, you can already
going down.
design. Yeah, it will trickle down. That does
In
not
other words, promote agriculture.
Promote
What are the
agriculture.
other advocacies you have other than the three main, again,
okay.
agriculture?
Okay, going to the three main, electricity. Now, our dependency on imported oil is 90%. Now, if you're going to look at our balance sheet, while our export is increasing, our demand for oil is increasing likewise. So we can never catch up.
same.
So what if we were able to reduce the oil imports by cutting down electricity, by reducing our dependency on imported oil? How? Solar panels.
Yes, so I believe in solar.
Water.
Hydro.
Hydro.
Gas.
Wind.
Wind,
And
yeah.
gas.
And gas, yeah.
And we have all the resources. in
Marami
the
tayong
country.
gas eh.
Right. Natural gases. And
Most
also-
especially solar.
Right. Solar and wind.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of islands that's got strong winds.
Yes, we do.
We get category 5 for Christ's sake.
yeah, right.
Imagine.
Tama
You know one
ka.
thing I learned from some expert? He was saying, when you capture the energy from solar, you have to store it. Unlike when you capture it from, let's say, a turbine like a water or hydro, it has a battery.
May baterya. That's
So you
for
need
storage.
Yeah, right. So you need to attach your solar to either hydro or an air, so that you can use the same battery to store the energy.
So
That's-
innovation and
Yeah,
science.
that's the science to it.
The science,
When
the
I learned
science.
that, okay, that makes sense, right? Because if there's no sun, then you don't have.
Correct,
power.
correct.
So you have to combine that technology. And if we were to put our investment into these engineers, into these scientists, instead of importing that, or even do partnership, whoever they are, because we are the basic commodity of the photovoltaic cells for a solar.
Yeah.
Guess what? Silica, sand.
Which is what we have
Which is
again.
plenty
Ang
everywhere.
buong Boracay, sand yan.
Exactly,
Silica yan
exactly.
eh.
We've got plenty of those.
Okay, other positions. Where do you stand on Parliament versus the current system
Yeah.
of the Congress, the upper house, and the lower house?
Okay, there are different schools of thought. There are
You,
pros
where
and
do you
cons.
stand?
I go for parliament, of
Parliament.
course. Right.
Federalism.
Federalism. Well, it would be good if we were able to select. I mean, divide the states, but the fiscal management that has to be discussed further. Who handles who? Because it might cost double taxation.
Parang gano'n nga, no?
Yeah.
So, malabo pa yung...
Malabo pa
Do
yun
you
eh.
agree with the CONCOM? Hindi pa masyado. Kulang pa.
Hindi pa klaro yun. It's
So,
not clear.
agreed ka na natulak yung... Remember, one of the basic points that Duterte ran on was federalism.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's frustrating him.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, okay. My roots come from Mindanao. All right. A
Okay.
big chunk of my relatives are from Mindanao.
I
Half of
didn't know
my-
that.
Yeah. And
Muslim ka pala?
well,
No, go ahead, go ahead.
to some
Continue.
regard,
It don't
yes,
matter.
yeah.
It don't
Yeah, yeah.
matter.
Now, I can understand why the Mindanaoans are clamoring for federalism because they've got they've got the
They don't
natural-
get their fair share.
fair share. They've got the biggest natural resources, yet everything goes to the central.
Correct.
In Manila.
Yes.
Imperial Manila, we call it.
Yes.
Now, having a federal state is a natural course, a discourse for the Mindanaoans. Natural lang
Bagay,
yan eh.
equitable.
Oh,
Para
and
equitable
then
naman.
we can see because of the vastness of the land
Yes.
and the richness of the resources in
Yes.
terms of mining, whatever you can do, surely enough, that can grow as huge and as rich, maybe beyond Luzon.
So, agreed ka, federalism. For Mindanao lang muna.
For Mindanao.
So,
Now-
partial.
yeah, now, you have Visayas, okay?
Okay.
Visayas,
Islands
unlike
yan,
Mindanao-
puro islands.
Ito naman,
Ah,
guess what?
sige, sige,
Harry?
sige.
Interestingly enough, when you talk about food security and you tie that up, you know, in Japan, who has less islands that we do,
Yes.
they can already farm, guess what? Tuna. Scientific. They can already cordon a plot of islands together and build
Kasi
a
doon
farm.
dumadaan ng tuna lane eh.
Correct, correct. Now, we also have that rich resource here.
So, sa mga tuna lanes natin,
Okay,
meron
no,
din eh.
tuna rin. And then other big fishes that we can store and pen and grow in the natural environment and natural habitat.
So more
in the sea.
science into young
all we gotta do-
aquamarine.
Exactly. All we got to do is an exchange program between Japan and the Philippines in the area of Visayas.
Or even us to eat tuna. Filipinos like
I
it.
know. What I'm saying is the technology.
Technology.
The technology transfer. Kasi when you look at the group of islands in Visayas, unlike Luzon and Mindanao, their biggest asset and competitive advantage is that resource, the water resource. It covers more area of water than Mindanao and Luzon. Now, given that resource in the strategic location, and there is no strong winds in between the islands, kasi meron ka ng natural breakwater na rin, right? So if you can even pen the areas where you can grow galunggong, grow tuna, and all
The
other
habitats,
yes,
yung
yeah,
mga,
and then you can harvest them at a much easier space. You don't have to safeguard your territories where the Japanese and the Chinese trawlers come to Ireland and steal. You can already put them in an area and even grouper fish, yung lapu-lapu.
Oh, lapu-lapu.
So ang dami mo
Yan ang mas
pwedeng
popular
gawin.
dito, ah.
Correct. So if you can grow them by areas, by pen, you can harvest them on a seasonal cycle. Right? That makes sense. I am no marine biologist, but logic will tell me, common sense will tell me that's how it works. So with all this technology, we got GPS, you got drone, right? You can already map it out easily, right? Get a marine biologist and already plan it out and put it in a schedule.
If and when you sit in the Senate, there will be all kinds of issues and crises
yes.
that will be thrown at you.
Right.
How will you stand on issues, for example, very quickly, one after the other? Abortion.
Yeah, okay.
Where would you, issues like that.
Yeah, right.
Dynasties. All kinds of issues of federalism, of course,
Right,
like
right,
I
right.
said. Free irrigation, free education, the military budget, the purchasing of weaponry
Right.
for local warfare,
Right,
di ba?
right.
Infrastructure from airports to ports,
Yes.
G to the MRT, di ba? So to speak.
Yeah.
The PESA issue, di ba?
Yes,
I mean,
yes, yes.
They act like they're tax-free forever. Parang ganun eh. Casinos. I mean, my gosh, this is draining the funds of the local entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Di ba? By oligarchs again. And many of the casinos are owned by foreigners pa.
Yes, yes.
Di ba? And they're sucking the money. Dapat
Yeah.
yan. Parang sa Singapore ba yan? You can enter, bayad ka ng 2,000 when you enter pag Pilipino ka.
Yeah.
In other words, restrict, regulate, if not at least hold back the locals from blowing their money, di ba?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
to speak. Where will you stand and what will guide you?
Okay, that's quite a bundle that you just mentioned
No, I mean,
there.
because
You
at
got
the
it.
Senate,
I know.
putya, lahat tatapon sa inyo eh.
Correct,
And
correct.
you're going to be invested. I mean, look at the Senate now, walang tigil eh.
Correct, correct.
From corruption to whatever, di ba? Oo.
Right. And I wish the Senate would really actively address that, which apparently they're not.
Well, they're all addressing how to look good in the makeup in
course,
front of Channel
exactly.
2 and
then
7, di ba?
they go stupid remarks, this and that. It's not even intelligently.
Yan ang problema.
Nawawala.
Nawawala.
Now,
Ah.
here's the approach, as you mentioned that. Bring it to the experts.
Good point.
Now, why do you say bring it to research? Let's say one topic, local governance. Give it to the center on local governance. There is one such institution. That's with the UP National College of Public and
It
Governance.
is. Yes, you're right. That's
Right.
what they study.
Yeah, that's what they study. Okay, if you have something to do with marine, there is a Philippine Marine Science Institute. Again, in UP.
Rely on expertise.
Expertise. And
Walang
then,
bulahan.
Wala nang bulahan. And not only that, there's even what do you call this? Under NEDA, they have this Institution for Strategic Studies equivalent of, right?
They do research.
They do research also. And then tapping them to do a dedicated research. All you do as a senator or congressman, finance the research. And then when the research comes out, then have it discussed on a public hearing with the stakeholders.
Pero tunay na hearing,
Oo,
hindi
tunay na hearing.
Wala na, tsaka wala
Hindi,
ng
tsaka-
media. Buti pa wala ng media.
Hindi, okay lang, you need the media to educate the public.
Okay.
Pero community media.
Ayun.
Not like what you have, kunyari, diba, in the provinces, you have cable TV there. And then what they show there, yung community discussion, the council level, yung solution.
Community nga yun.
Community level. So ito rin, by community rin, kunyari, affected region, yun lang.
Ayun.
Kasi they're direct stakeholders to that issue. Now, when they start discussing this, and then show on the graphs the changes, then you educate the voters para mawala na yung mga apprehension na kinakananan na naman yan ng isang oportunista, ganun-ganun.
Parang
Because-
gano'n. Kasi the
ganun.
people have become cynical.
Exactly. Who would trust the government nowadays?
Toti,
right?
what guides you? You're Catholic.
Well,
okay.
born again.
You're born again. Oh, well, you're Christian.
Yes, a Christian.
What guides you to be that person? That will make your decisions more or less. Who is that? Who is Toti Casino when it comes to crisis management? Because all of this, like you said, you're right. Get the professionals.
Yeah.
Get the expertise.
Yeah.
Don't get a doctor to fix the bridge. Di ba tama? And don't get a farmer to fix your heart.
Right,
Di ba?
right.
An open heart surgery.
Yeah.
Now, over and above that, the management, more or less, that will put everything together, you need to be guided somewhat. Diba?
Yeah.
What are your guiding principles in life that will help you manage in the Senate to what we perceive to be a good senator?
Okay.
That's a nice open question.
Of course.
It's about you.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Right,
Yeah,
right,
parang
right.
ganon.
I'm one who is, chances are, I fear God most. I don't fear men. I'm not afraid of titles. To me, they can put a 45 in my head and I say, go ahead, shoot. I just want to get gone.
That I know of you. Tsaka, you're not materialistic.
No. So-
Ever since I've known you, baliwala. You
Right, that's
commute
not-
here, you commute there.
yeah,
You don't care.
I don't care.
Yeah.
The thing is, in the scripture, all right, being Catholic, it says there, my people perish for lack of knowledge. His chosen people, not me, not you, his chosen people. The poor, the sick, the elderly, etc.
Blessed are the poor, for they will
Yeah,
inherit
yeah,
the earth.
Now, it is us who are the knowledge ones
Yes.
who should be able to
Guide.
them and provide them their needs. It is our failure, our mistake if we do not do that share. In the remaining years that we are in our senior year already, right? And then if we do not do our part to pass it on to the next generation, then we already committed a sin because they're amateurs. They don't know what they're doing. So us, the elderly ones who have got more wisdom, more experience, should be the ones to correct the mistakes of our time so that they will not inherit that in the future. Because we are ballooning in such in a rate that not very long between the time now and then, we have already convoluted the population like twice as much in short time that you and I could imagine. I remember when I was still in college, and the population there was not even
55 tayo.
not even 65, maybe a third of that only, right? And I said, I'm not going to get to that. Now that we're here and I can see the congestion.
Tumanda na tayo.
And then I remember going to grad school and they were telling me, they call this rapid urbanization. And they use the word, I came across this term in the late 90s, stressors.
Stressors.
That's what we're encountering now, stress, aren't we? Because all these things that they even forecasted the internet even at that time when when I was still undergoing. And I was saying, being an IT professional then, I said, will I ever come across that society? And if that's you have knowledge ballooning left
Which is
and
now.
right, which is now,
Yeah.
but it's not being used properly, unlike Singapore or Malaysia. And we have the human capital as a natural resource. We have the capacity to build the talent individually and massively that all these other countries are in need of. Right now, they're already encountering
Yeah.
that. There is what you call rapid aging. in Europe, in Japan, in US, and the rest of the first world countries, they're in the dilemma in the next 5 to 10 years, they have a shortfall of middle management. Who's going to fill in that gap? Who are they going to get? The Muslims who are terrorists? They'd rather get it from Christians who are well educated, but are we educating our countrymen well enough? That's why our intervention is not
So you
only...
take on the responsibility very seriously.
Yes, exactly. I don't have the answers, but it's all there.
Okay, we're down to our last 4 minutes. I'd like to ask you some other issues. Marijuana, where do you stand?
Well, there are a lot of kuskulas that are that, and I think I'm open to that.
Good. I-legislate mo naman. At least decriminalize.
Decriminalize is, that's the word, that's the word.
Yeah, start there.
yeah.
And then maybe...
Because unlike the other chemicals,
No, yung mali yun.
yung
Bawal yun, bawal yun.
ito organic eh. Okay, then study it further. Decriminalize. If you're caught, don't kill the guy. You know, understand anong effect mo niya talaga, because there are so many studies already.
No, at least marijuana dapat decriminalize.
Yeah,
Yung mga iba
decriminalize.
para sa akin, shabu, okay yan, barilin mo.
Barilin mo rin, kasi
Wala na akong
chemical
pake.
yun. Hindi, nag-iiba
Tsaka
eh.
patay na eh.
Hindi,
Para
tsaka
sa akin.
distorted, it
patay
kills your
na eh.
brain.
Correct.
Pero marijuana, there are a lot of schools that thought that it
But
also
at least
beneficial
your
to the health.
mind is open
Yes,
to that.
definitely.
Gay marriage.
Gay marriage, okay. I wouldn't want to rock the boat on that regard, because it's really...
But you're open to hear discussions.
Yes, definitely.
Abortion, same.
Abortion, no. Only on those that have been forced raped.
Oh, yung ganun. But that's still choice.
Hindi,
In other
yeah,
words, choice.
Hindi, pero kunyari, unwanted teenage pregnancy. You have to
Choice.
do counsel. I would
Sa
recommend
Australia
counseling.
ngayon, up to 20 so many days, or I think 4 weeks, 5
Yeah,
weeks,
yeah.
you can legally terminate.
Well, you're reducing a life into a matter of a cell. That's,
So your faith may...
no, I'm not saying
may
my faith.
bangga sa
Hindi
faith.
naman sa ganon. Pero it's a matter of when is life conceived? Diba?
Alam mo, malaking argument yan.
Malaking argument yan.
Depende kung
It's
doktor
not
ka o
my-
hindi.
It's not my stance, but I have heard of that school of thought.
Yes, yeah,
To me, sige nga, let's see how the argument proceeds. What I'm saying is, we weigh it on the merits of the argument. I'm not taking any stand. here.
OFWs, going abroad.
Okay. With the internet, the advance in technology, they can even bring them back here, and then they can do their work overseas, or they can work there. and
Bagay,
then-
we see that already.
Yeah, it's happening now.
It's happening. Lahat ng mga programmers dito pumupunta,
Correct.
kumukuha ng talent.
Correct.
And then they pay them high wages para sa atin, but it's still low for them.
And not only that, to make a long distance call, you don't.
Wala na, wala nang cost.
Hindi lang, kita mo na face to face.
Video na eh.
Video na, you can see
Messenger
them.
lang, you can see each other.
Smartphone lang nga eh.
Smartphone.
Face to face ka eh.
Maski anong app
FaceTime.
gusto mo,
Yun na,
iba-iba.
nandiyan na, we're here ready eh. Now, all you gotta do is just, expand that, make it affordable.
How are you going to work with people who are hard-headed, incompetent, stupid, ignorant? Especially, you know how many people still are still computer illiterate.
Right.
Ang daming manager dyan, GM, nakikita ko, nakikilala ko.
Oh,
May
yeah,
naka-display na laptop, pero hindi alam kung anong pipindutin.
Yeah.
What do we do with these dinosaurs? Terminate them, di ba?
No, they got two choices, innovate or evaporate.
Okay, we got to end the show. The last minute. Toti, what message would you like to give our viewers directly, please, as we end the
Okay.
show?
Thank you very much, Harry, for
All the
having me
time.
featured in this program of yours. And I beg your viewers, if you really want to have a change in our country and you really have a love for our country, choose an alternative option. Look at the other parties. Let's not always be led by those we see on a regular basis. Listen up. There are more talented people out there who are more qualified to be in office than the one we have right now. They're a bunch of clowns, sorry to say. Okay.
Okay, there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you've enjoyed our program. You've got a number of choices that's coming your way. So your role between now and May 11 is to identify who and where you stand. Forget about the personality. It's not the popularity, and it's not the number of times you will see him on telly or read about, but what you stand for. If you stand for the same beliefs, that should be your guiding force, not because he's in a teleserye. So I hope you've enjoyed our program. Maraming salamat po. I'll see you here again on GN.